Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third day of the Razor King of the Beta tournament. We have HuK against Idra and White Ra versus Demaga, some epic best-of-3 PvZ action coming up. Before we go into the first series, which is HuK against Idra, do want to note what the standings are in the two groups. Idra and HuK are actually both 0-1 in their groups, with HuK slightly ahead. The little one defeated HuK 2-1, so HuK does have one win under his belt. But Idra was 2-0'd by Tester, and for any of you who didn't know, Idra traditionally has had a mental block against Tester. Tester's defeated him multiple times in multiple series. And now in White Ra against Demaga, Demaga is 0-1, and White Ra did manage to defeat QXC 2-0, so White Ra's coming out strong in this match, showing that he does have a lot of aggression early on against those Terran players. But he's up against a Zerg player right now, so we'll definitely have to see if he can make the adjustment. So let's pop right on back to our first series of HuK against Idra. These players do have a little bit of history. Obviously, they're both incredibly strong players. Idra, the only surviving American in South Korea. He is on the CJ Entus Pro team, playing Starcraft 2 full-time for a living. HuK, an extraordinarily beastly Protoss who, of course, does incredibly well in the IC Cup TV leagues and other assorted pastries. And perhaps the most notable of all would be a little bit of a grudge match between HuK and Idra, best of 5, hosted by Gosu Coaching, where HuK was up 2-0 at the start of that best of 5, and Idra did a little bit of the classic BM, saying that the only way that HuK could win is if he cheesed the rest of the series, and then Idra came back to win 3-0. 3-2. He won 3 games in a row to take the series 3-2. So, we will get a chance to see that rematch coming up right now. And as this loads up, I did want to give a huge shout out to Razor once again for sponsoring the prize pool for this tournament. $2,000 for first, $1,000 for second place. Extra big special thanks to Razor, of course, for always supporting the esports community. Now, for any of you who did not know, Razor is coming out with an amazing new line of Starcraft 2 mouse and keyboard, so you should definitely check those out at www.razorzone.com. So here is Idra against HuK, game 1 starting right now. HuK spawning in the bottom left position as the blue Protoss pieces on Blistering Sands. In the top right, we have Idra as the green Zerg, the nice dark puke colored Zerg, which, though it might look a little bit ugly, definitely makes it easy for the eyes, so we kind little observers can get the chance to see him clearly. HuK sending out an early probe, going to be heading up, and looks like he's going to be doing a little bit of a block at his ramp. No, looks like he is building directly outside his front. Now, in Protoss vs. Zerg, players absolutely love getting away with building a very fast expansion. And HuK, this is another trademark move of his, scouting immediately with that first probe. A lot of players like to keep it back and make sure that it is mining enough money the entire time, but HuK likes to scout a little bit earlier, and in exchange, he ends up chrono boosting a lot of his probes. Now, on this map, the big concern you always have to worry about is Zerg is this destructible rock right here. You can't really get away with powering quite as hard as you want to. You have to be very careful with the Protoss ability to be aggressive. Protoss has a little bit easier time because they can just plant a cannon to defend there. But it looks like HuK's first probe has arrived. Trademark HuK action coming right out of the gate. That really is something that is perhaps the most annoying thing in the universe for anyone playing against HuK, is that this probe, oh my god, he is tenacious. Wants to be as aggressive as possible, just zap everything, especially obnoxious if you're a Terran. But of course, Idra, who is not Terran unless we're playing Starcraft 1, is getting a little chance to have some guys pulled off mining. Not so good. Spawning pool is going down for Idra right now. Meanwhile, at the front of HuK's base, 1 gateway going down. Will he do a 2-gateway build? Oh, very aggressive. Oh, this is my favorite build in the world. 2-gateway is Protoss. You get so many zealots out, and this is the one build that is most vulnerable against it. If you go for the very fast spawning pool followed by the hatchery, you cannot quite get enough Zerglings in time to defend this. The key piece to this puzzle for Zerg is getting that queen out in time, and it looks like Idra is making an overlord early, trying to get that up. Now, if Idra makes these Zerglings first, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He needs to save up and get that queen ASAP. Yes, there's the queen going down. 3 larvae saved up now. He can begin constructing those Zerglings. Probe still trying to do a little bit of harassment. Looks like Zealots are en route. HuK has really stopped chrono boosting all of his probes. Look at that. He's at 63 chrono boost, and he's chrono boosting yet again. Whoa, queuing up Zealots. He really wants to kill Idra early, but here comes the second gateway finishing right now. Now remember that these 2 gateways were pretty late, but that still doesn't mean that the rush is going to be weak. Notice Idra only has a few Zerglings out. Going to the unit counting station, it's 1 Zealot versus about 6 Zerglings right now, and we can already see HuK is pulling ahead in the probe count. Going to be very tough for Idra to defend this still. There comes the queen. Needs to get that larva up immediately. Excellent, excellent job by Idra. And whoa! HuK's probe did a little bit of teleporting, somehow getting by 8 Zerglings that were guarding the ramp, but it looks like one poke in the eye from the queen and it will fall. Now, you know, I did say that this was the most dangerous opening for the Zerg player to deal with if they are playing this Idra style, right? If they are getting this hatchery up as quickly as possible after the spawning pool. And most people would look at this and say, well, Idra really isn't in that bad of a spot. He didn't get attacked. Didn't really look like anything was going on. But the key question is, how is Idra going to spend this set of larvae? These 4 just popped off on that queen. It looks like he's holding off. He doesn't quite want to make anything yet because he needs to get a good sense of what's going to be popping out. There's some Zerglings. And as we can see, Idra looks like he's mounting some sort of counteroffensive. And look at HuK creating a nice wall here with everything. Still no gas. Is continuing to make probes, and is going to be chrono boosting those as well. So HuK very, very well defended. And going to the unit counting station, or and going to the production tab, look, yet more Zerglings being made by Idra. Just has to make so many links if he wants to hope to feel safe. And here's the obnoxiousness of the back door. Players always will have to worry about this. And now HuK has to spread his forces out a little bit. He needs to be very careful because here comes Idra using these huge numbers of Zerglings to continue to harass, and there's more Zerglings coming. Idra also double gassing in his main, but looks like this attack is what HuK needs to worry about right now. The Forge is done, and HuK does not really have that many Zealots. He only has 4. And this is a lot of Zerglings. Idra just trying to bait HuK out. Look at this patience by HuK. Right up against the gate. Oh my god, Idra's trying to go for a huge surround, but it looks like HuK is pulling back, hasn't taken any hull damage from these Zealots in the slightest. This is excellent, excellent control by HuK, and it looks like Idra's attack will be repelled. This expansion is up as well for HuK, and you know, HuK is already getting a little bit behind on the worker count, but Idra really is the one who's still suffering from that early pressure. Finally has 2 queens up, finally has the ability to be very macro-oriented. 1 photon cannon going down. Idra won't be able to take out these destructible rocks in time, but so smart anytime you make early Zerglings. Always kill those destructible rocks so you can get that gold expansion up more quickly. Zergling speed only just now getting started. That's such a late Zergling speed. Just brutal that he is getting it that late. Tried to go for the huge counter aggression, but it didn't quite work out. HuK doing the double rally to the Expo, trying to get those probes out ASAP, and plants a lot of Zealots back here. Really seems to concern that some roaches are going to come there soon, because really, if you look, HuK is pretty closed off. He has enough defense to stay alive from all angles, but has no sense of what Idra's doing. And meanwhile, look in Idra's base. I mean, he has an Overlord in the main and Overlord at the expansion. He has both of these Xel'Naga watchtowers. He's taking this bottom right. Excellent map control and a very fast evolution chamber. Another trademark Idra move. Idra loves getting this because, remember, Zerglings die to 3 hits from Zealots unless the Protoss gets that +1 attack upgrade at the Forge. And the Zealots kill Zerglings in 2 shots. Such a critical upgrade in this game. So the +1 armor will counteract that. So it looks like Roachwarren going down for Idra. A little bit early for Idra. He does tend to like to get the Hydralisks up early. Prefers those. They are a lot more versatile. HuK looks like he's pulling back, just getting Warp Gate. There's 1 gateway going down. Curious what his follow-through is going to be. Oh, looks like HuK is completely walling off his front. And there's the Chrono Boost for the +1. Stalkers are out right now. Idra. Oh, it looks like Idra is going to be losing an Overlord. This one manages to make it out alive, but this one will not be able to suffer the same lucky fate. Lair is now up for Idra. He's getting a Hydralisk Den, very typical Idra style. Love how fast he's getting this 3rd. This is an excellent decision against a player who is turtling hard like this, trying to get as many Warp Gates up as possible. Oh my goodness, 7 Warp Gates coming up right now. That is going to be tough to stop. Needs to make certain that he has enough Spore Crawlers, or excuse me, enough Spine Crawlers. I just want to call them Sunken Colonies, the good old StarCraft 1 throwback. But Hydralisks are only just now coming out. Look at these worker counts, neck and neck. This is the one key. Zergs want to power really badly. They want to get as many drones up as they can. Look, all these hatches are rallied down. See that orange line? All the hatches rallying drones to the bottom right. But it's going to be a little dangerous for Idra, because look at HuK sprinting forward with 7 gateways, 8 gateways, 9 gateways. Do you have enough money for that? I would love to hear HuK's description of his strategy. Well, you open 2 gate, and then you get 9 gateways. Bam! 1-0. Let's see if it can manage to work out for him. This is the sort of push that, though is very dangerous, is very, very hard to follow up. It's almost impossible to have some sort of reasonable follow-through when you are getting that many gateways early on. You are devoting 100% of your resources to this push. You can't even really afford to get the +1 armor upgrade, but here is HuK moving out right now. He is going for the Xel'Naga Watchtower first, trying to get a good sense of the unit count of Idra. And oh, look at this. It doesn't look like Idra has very many units at all. This is going to be a really tough army for Idra to be able to defend, and so smart by HuK planting that pylon down for reinforcement.